At 2:14 p.m. on August 6, 1927, Frank Mercer watched his Fordson's front wheels lift 6 inches off the Indiana State Fairgrounds track, the steering wheel vibrating so hard he could barely hold it. 28 years old, 3 years racing tractors, never crashed. Behind him, Thomas Kellerman on a Case 1527 and Dutch Hoekstra on an International Harvester. 1530 roared through dust clouds. 8,000 spectators had paid 25 cents to watch farmers race machines designed to plow fields. The afternoon sun beat down. Children waved pennants. Vendors sold lemonade. Nobody thought 3 men would die before sunset. The Indiana State Tractor Championship, 5 miles around the half-mile dirt track. 10 laps. First place, $50, 2 months' wages. Second place got $25. Third got bragging rights. That's worth risking broken bones, worth ignoring that tractors had no racing brakes, that steel wheels with iron cleats could flip the machine in an instant. 6 tractors lined up, steel wheels fitted with iron cleats designed to bite soil. Machines weighing 3,500 to 4,200 pounds. Kerosene engines screaming, black smoke from vertical exhaust stacks. The starting gun fired at 2 p.m. sharp. Mercer's lighter Fordson jumped ahead immediately. Kellerman's Case, with 27 horsepower, followed close. Hoekstra settled into third, knowing mechanical failure killed more dreams than slow starts. 10 laps to finish. By lap 3, 3 tractors had dropped back with overheating engines. By lap 4, Kellerman pulled alongside Mercer in the north turn. Both drivers cranked their wheels hard. For 20 yards they ran wheel to wheel, engines screaming, steel cleats tearing dirt, throwing up dust so thick spectators couldn't see. Then Kellerman's front wheel hit a depression, a 6-inch rut worn by previous races. The Case lurched left. Kellerman overcorrected, yanking the wheel right. The weight shifted. Physics took over. In 1 second the machine was upright. In the next, it was tipping sideways. Kellerman stayed with it. Wrong choice. The Case rolled twice. The sound was horrific. Metal screaming, wood splintering. The steering wheel crushed into the engine block with Kellerman pinned underneath, caught between 4,000 pounds of iron and hard-packed dirt. The tractor slid 70 feet before stopping in dust and leaking kerosene. Mercer didn't look back. Hoekstra did, but kept racing. In 1927, you finished or quit. Track workers and spectators surrounded the wreck, and 8 men lifted his Case. Kellerman's leg was crushed below the knee. 3 ribs broken, internal bleeding. A doctor called for an ambulance. Kellerman was conscious, asking if his tractor could be fixed. He died in the ambulance before reaching Indianapolis City Hospital. Ruptured spleen. Under this video, you'll see a subscribe button, a small action with a big meaning. By pressing it, you're not only supporting the creation of more content like this, but you're also becoming part of the very exchange. Lap 7, Eugene Parks, 24, ran third in a Waterloo Boy Model N. First race. He'd mortgaged his wheat crop for the $5 entry fee. He needed that $25 prize desperately. His farm was small, the land marginal, and he was already behind on payments. By lap 8, his temperature gauge climbed deep into red. The Waterloo Boy was built for fieldwork, not sustained racing. The engine began knocking, metallic hammering growing louder. The crowd could hear it over the roar. Lap 9. The engine seized catastrophically. A connecting rod broke and punched through the block like a bullet. Superheated oil sprayed across Parks's legs and chest. The tractor lurched. Parks jerked the wheel left. The machine veered toward spectators packed at the inside rail. Parks had 1 second. He yanked the wheel back right. Overcorrection. The Waterloo Boy spun violently. The rear wheel caught in a rut. The tractor flipped end over end. Parks was thrown clear, flying 20 feet through the air. He hit the ground hard, shoulder first, then his head, rolled twice, lay completely still, face down. One arm bent at an angle, Arms don't naturally bend. The tractor kept tumbling until it crashed into the wooden grandstand rail. The rail exploded. Posts splintered. Boards flew through the air. The tractor came to rest half on track, half in the spectator area. Miraculously, nobody in the crowd was seriously injured. They'd scattered just in time. Parks lay motionless. Blood trickled from his nose and ear, fractured skull, broken arm, broken collarbone. He would survive, but his farming days were over. Officials threw the red flag. Mercer and Hoekstra stopped. 2 dead or dying. 1 badly injured. For $50 and the honor of being fastest in Indiana. Mercer collected his prize and drove off the fairgrounds without speaking. He never raced again. Hoekstra took his $25 and drove home in silence. 3 days later, August 9th, Hoekstra was working his wheat field when the steering mechanism failed. The International veered into a drainage ditch and overturned, pinning him underneath. His wife found him 2 hours later, chest crushed. Whether the failure was related to race stress remained unclear. Farm machinery accidents were tragically common. Nobody investigated, but Hoekstra's family believed the race had killed him. The Indianapolis newspapers ran the story on page 1. Tragedy at fairgrounds. 2 dead in tractor race disaster. The State Fair Board held an emergency meeting August 12th. 3 hours of heated debate. Proponents argued racing demonstrated agricultural innovation. Opponents pointed to 3 deaths in 1 week. The vote was 7-4 to ban tractor racing. Several county fairs quickly followed. By 1928, organized tractor racing had disappeared from the Midwest. But racing didn't stop. It went underground, back roads, farmers' fields. No safety rules, no medical personnel. More dangerous than sanctioned events ever were. Mercer used his $50 for seed corn. The farm failed anyway. He sold it in 1931, moved to Detroit, worked at a Ford factory for 33 years. Never spoke about the race. When coworkers asked about his past, he'd say he used to farm and change the subject. Died in 1964 at 65. His obituary mentioned factory work, but said nothing about racing. Kellerman was buried in Fort Wayne. 42 years old. Wife and 3 children. His farm sold for debts. The case tractor was repaired, sold at auction, eventually restored for a private collection. Pristine condition today. No indication of its history. Parks recovered, but his arm never worked right. Couldn't farm anymore. Opened a tractor repair shop in Bloomington in 1928. Had a knack for diagnosing engine problems. The business grew steadily. He rarely talked about Indianapolis, but kept newspaper clippings in his desk drawer. Married in 1932, raised 4 children. Died in 1976 at 73. Hoekstra's son kept the farm through the Depression. The International was buried in the back 40, too damaged to repair. It's still there, slowly rusting into the earth. The 1927 race became a cautionary tale. For decades, older farmers would warn younger men, "Remember what happened at Indianapolis." Everyone knew what they meant. Tractor racing returned in the 1950s, but different. Modern tractor pulling emerged with purpose-built machines, roll cages, safety barriers, medical personnel. The sport learned what 1927 taught brutally. The irony, the race was meant to be safe. Enclosed track instead of open roads, farm tractors instead of racing machines, safety personnel around the course. But they hadn't accounted for the fundamental problem. Tractors weren't designed to race. Their weight distribution made them prone to flipping. Their steering couldn't handle high-speed corners. Their cooling couldn't sustain full throttle. The safety measures didn't matter because the premise was fatally flawed. 3 men died learning that lesson. Kellerman crushed under a case. Parks thrown from a Waterloo Boy. Hoekstra killed 3 days later when race-stressed components failed. Their deaths didn't make national headlines. Didn't inspire new safety regulations. Simply ended fair racing, pushing it underground where it was deadlier. Mercer's $50 was spent long before he died. But the memory stayed. The memory of the sound Kellerman's case made when it rolled. The memory of Parks lying motionless. The memory of accepting that prize money while knowing two men were dead or dying. That memory stayed with Mercer every day for 37 years, until his heart stopped while mowing his suburban Detroit lawn, about as far from a tractor race as a man could get. If this story moved you, hit that like button. Subscribe for more forgotten stories. Tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Thank you for keeping these memories alive.